All right, we're live. So, everybody, welcome to the new Carolina Crafted Home Show live video. We have been, for the last 3 months, we've been in front of another set, but we've had this going and we just had to work out all the logistics. So, in case for some reason you can't you have any questions or let us know, but we've been excited to do this in front of our new setup, so hopefully everybody likes it. We have a really important topic tonight and we're going to get into that, but if you have never seen the show or you have seen the show, let us know where you're watching from. This is going to be our new setup for a while or for the foreseeable future, so we want to hear your questions. This is everything Myrtle Beach. So buying, selling, building, renovating, and lifestyle Myrtle Beach, which is really what tonight, I believe, ties into.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna talk about that.
And I think like all the misconceptions of Myrtle Beach as, this crazy party town, and you never think of this topic that we're going over tonight as being related at all to Myrtle Beach, because you think of like spring breakers or bike week or whatever. You don't think about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's a really special thing about our area that might be like a hidden secret that nobody knows about, and it could really help some families out there to be able to get away and enjoy a vacation, a well-needed vacation for their family. And that's what we're going to talk about, because our area has given a lot of opportunities to families that before were not able to take those trips.
And this is one of the things that makes Myrtle Beach great is, like you said, people think it's just one thing because that's what people come here for.
Yeah.
Quick vacations, parties, whatever. But there's so much more to our local town here, and that's really what this is about.
And this is another reason that it's a great place to live, not just vacation, but to live in. And we found that out by being here. Is just there's so many more things that we even had stigmas when we first moved here. And so this is a really interesting topic. So Frank, you want to kick us off?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
So, and by the way, poor Tiffany, she's a trooper. She's on here again this week, even though she's sick. So we all have to give her a round of applause for that one. So
I apologize ahead of time. I just can't seem to shake this crazy cold. So keep me in your prayers that I get better finally.
So I thought what we would talk about a little bit first is just some statistics on autism. We're going to talk about autism, nonprofit here, autism, like statistics about autism. And I just think it's really interesting in case you're not aware. And if you are and you're watching this and we say something that's not accurate, please feel free to correct. We're doing the best we can with what we have found and what we know. But the CDC report shows that the autism spectrum disorder now affects 1 in 31 children.
It's amazing.
1 in 31, which just is unbelievable.
I mean, we both have
in the U.S.
friends, a lot of friends with children on the spectrum. We have family members with children on the spectrum, both your family and mine. So it isn't something now that affects just a few people out there. I feel like this is just something that everybody knows, a family that is affected by autism in some way. And I'm not saying affected in a bad way, but it's just more prevalent, I believe, now than we used to think.
Yeah. And that's a continued rise from the previously reported 1 in 36. So in 2023. So in 2023, it was 1 in 36, and now it's 1 in 31. Since 2000, when the rate was 1 in 150, and that represents a 382% increase. Yeah. And I say all the time, I'm big. We're not going to get, what is the cause and what isn't, because I don't know that anybody. Yes, this can go a lot of different ways, but I think it doesn't really matter what the cause. It does, but my main point is that there is something going on, and you can't deny that. And to pretend like nothing is where my problem lies. So we should be trying to, and I think we are on the right network with RFK Jr., in the health department, and he's trying to figure out, and they've talked about a couple of causes, but that's for another day. The bottom line is something has changed and something's not right, and we need to get on top of it. Okay. So basically, I think that, experts basically attribute this to better public awareness, improved diagnostic tools, and greater access to care. How we know about the actual 1 in 36.
We were just talking about that the other night with friends. Like, is it just because there's a wider spectrum now than there used to be?
Yes.
More awareness and more people like noticing things and more like openness to it than it used to be. I mean, maybe there was this many before, we just didn't know it. I don't know what the answer is to that, but I think now it's about understanding this is something here. It's here to stay. There's a lot of families affected, and now what do we do about it? What support can we give to families that have an autistic child? Mm-hmm. And I think now that we recognize this is something that a lot of people are dealing with, we finally understand it's something we need to like help accommodate these families and help them out.
100%. And it also says that boys are diagnosed 3.4 times more often than girls, with a rate of 49.2 diagnoses per 1,000 boys compared to 14.3 per 1,000 for girls, which I thought was really interesting as well.
I've talked about that with friends recently too, because it's true. If I think about most of my friends and family that have the autistic children, it is mostly boys. I do know some with girls, but I would say that's true for the most part. It is the sons. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really interesting.
I think it's really interesting as well. And I'm sure we're going to find out more as time goes on, as long as they keep digging, which they should. But I think it's just important that we bring awareness, which is why we're talking about it. And this also leads into what we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I also thought that race and ethnicity, according to the stats I found, Black, Asian, and Hispanic children showed higher overall ASD prevalence.
That's interesting.
Compared to white children. It's not a big difference, but it's a little bit. And we're also more likely to have a more severe form of autism, which I thought was interesting. No idea why. And then while the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends screening at 18 to 24 months, the average autism diagnosis currently occurs at age 4.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, and this is probably one of the hardest ones for me to swallow. And I really feel for families that have this, that they deal with. Autism costs an average of $60,000 per year through childhood due to special education services, healthcare costs, and lost parental wages. Lifetime costs for a person with autism are estimated at $1.4 million, rising to $2.4 million for those with intellectual disabilities. Mm-hmm. And I think that's on top of the other burdens that they bear. And so I think that's what, we're going to talk about tonight. And so I think it's really important that we bring awareness to this. And I really care about this.
Yeah, it's something that's...
Why don't we talk a little bit though, and transition from I wanted to just bring a couple of stats to talk about what's taking place in case somebody wasn't aware.
Well, and to show that this is like a real situation.
It is. It's a real challenge.
And I'm sure you all feel it, and you know somebody that is dealing with that with their child. So that's my statistics. So not a lot of families were vacationing when they have an autistic child because it's very difficult. Noises, safety, places they don't know. There's all these things. And then the stigma about it, having to explain yourself to everybody. So I think a lot of families just said, you know what, I would love a vacation, but it's just even more stressful to take a vacation because nobody understands. And that's what one mom felt. And she was like, there's just no place to go. Why isn't there? And so she set about starting this initiative that now had made Surfside Beach, South Carolina, the first autism-friendly vacation spot, not just in the country, but in the world in 2016.
Which is kind of crazy that took that long for someone to do that.
It is.
Very impressive.
I mean, but it's amazing what the strong will of a mom can accomplish. And I think that's so cool, because who knows that about our area, about Surfside Beach, which is right next to Myrtle Beach. We're all kind of the Grand Strand. But there's also, it's not just in Surfside anymore. It's all of the neighboring beaches that have adopted this. And it's so impressive for families. And do you want to talk about the CAN network?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So there is a organization here, and they're local to Surfside. I would call Myrtle Beach local too, but they'd probably be like, course, no, we're in Surfside, but in the area. And it's called the CAN network. And that stands for Champion Autism Network. And they have a website, championautismnetwork.com. And we're going to reference them throughout this because we really want to help them and help the cause. And we hope that this does help. But I thought I would just give you an idea of what they're about. So the CAN network is in autism. Basically, they explain autism in case you're not aware. ASD is a group of brain development disorders affecting social interaction, communication, and behavior. And people with autism may have, which I think a lot of people don't think about, but they may have sensory sensitivities to lights, sounds, smells, crowds, or new environments. And when overstimulated, they may experience meltdowns, which are often misinterpreted as bad behavior. Yeah. And this is where it kind of goes into what you were talking about, the traveling. So public misunderstanding can lead to judgment and social isolation.
And the isolation is where people are like, I can't travel. Like how much,
that's right.
Even when I first had Hudson, I was like, man, I need a vacation. Sometimes as a mom in your family, you just need to get away, be together. But if you're worried about that stigma, the stress of it and everything, I can see being like, it's just not even worth it.
Well, you think about it, like any toddler is going to act
oh my gosh,
out
we were
and
worried about
they have
meltdowns.
Yes. So, but it never ends sometimes.
And when you have an older child having a meltdown and then you're trying to say, oh, it's just because they're on the spectrum, and you're trying to explain it to everybody instead of paying attention to your child. Not that you're not, but I mean, you feel like people are judging you and you need to explain to them what's going on.
And I don't think it's fair. And, there's people out there that just, even when whether you have kids or not, but when you have kids, there's a lot of people out there that are like, hey, why is your kid crying? Or why don't you keep him calm? Or you're on a plane. And how many times we deal with that? And we are always aware, but people just are not nice.
No,
there are people out there that just aren't nice, and they're unforgiving, and they don't want to hear it. And so it's like, that's not fair.
And that's part of this whole initiative.
But a lot of families stay home to avoid criticism, which limits social growth for both the individual and the family. And so them being able to be out and go through the process, it helps them. And so, but they can't do it, and they feel like they're going to be judged. And that's the part that needs to be brought awareness to. And, there's a lot of people that no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy. But anyway, CAN's mission is to create supportive, inclusive communities where people with autism and their families feel accepted.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing mission. And I think that it's definitely necessary in this day and age. And so I think it's impressive that they started this organization.
No, I think it's super cool.
It started in Surfside Beach in 2016, which you said. Myrtle Beach and Horry County 2018 declared themselves autism-friendly destinations. And so CAN works to build a network of autism champions, including businesses, nonprofits, and individuals to ensure everyone can live, work, and play in supportive environments. But that's just an idea of what CAN is about.
Well, I think one of the really cool things about this organization, and something that we enjoy doing as a family, and that is almost essential when you go on vacation, is dining out.
Yes.
We love going to dinner.
We love it.
And I'm sure a lot of people with autistic children love to go to dinner, but that can turn into a whole situation that they don't want to be in. Excuse me, especially when you go on vacation, you want to go, and maybe you have other kids that want to go dine somewhere. So a really cool thing that this organization did is they created a CAN card. And this is something that's super cool. You can get it either online, you can get a hard copy of the card, and I'm going to tell them where they can get it. You can go to the Champion Autism Network,
Mhm.
which is championautismnetwork.com that Frank had mentioned. You register your family with a quick online form, and then you can get either the digital version or the physical card. And they will tell you some hotels or visitor center restaurants that can help connect your family. This is free to get this card. It's part of this community initiative. But the really cool thing is when you walk into a restaurant, you don't have to say a word. I'm going to cry. Like it's so like crazy.
Yeah.
You just show this card to the hostess or your waiter at these restaurants, and they automatically know what you need. And you don't have to explain yourself or anything. And so they basically just help your family be in a comfortable situation. So what they're going to do, they're going to seat you in a quieter section of the restaurant. They're going to make your order faster so you're not sitting there waiting for a long time. They're going to have flexibility if all of a sudden you need to leave. You're done. You need to get out of there. They're going to understand you. They're going to understand if your child is loud, they're moving, they're overstimulated, they're trained to deal with that. And it's going to reduce the pressure of the typical dining out experience. So, that's an amazing thing that you can do and not have to explain yourself.
Well, what I think about is, that's here in Myrtle Beach. Why would everyone not want to do this?
I know.
Why is it so just here in Myrtle Beach? And maybe we can do another, episode in the future where we talk with the lady that started the organization.
Yeah,
we've met before and I haven't talked to her. It's been years, but that's the thing, right? And so the question is, because you want everyone to feel like this. You want everyone to have this ability. You want everyone to be able to have that pressure off, because it's already hard enough.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't you want to help more families? That's the crazy part. But the fact that it's here in our small area and no one else has thought of this or done anything, and I'm sure they're trying to get more outreach and do that.
But did y'all know about this? I mean, this is something that we want to get out there, because if you're not aware and you are looking to take a vacation and you are stressed about these things, this is a great place for you to come. Or if you're looking for a community that's a great place to live and will understand your family's needs, Surfside Beach, Myrtle Beach, Horry County is a great place that we have the support for your family here. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. And it's another really amazing thing about living here in the Grand Strand.
100%, I agree.
So, I mean, I just can't imagine having that pressure taken off of you a little.
Mm-hmm.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but I think we're also disconnected and, like you said, kind of mean and judgmental of each other. And training staff around town to see this card and understand and deal with it, and you don't have to say anything. It almost feels like, again, it's a small community helping each other, which is such a cool thing when you have a family and you're in need like that. It's just so cool.
I agree. And it would be neat to see if anybody has any comments about what it's like in other towns, or if there's any programs like this out there I'm not aware of. But I think it'd be interesting to know. And if they don't, maybe you could champion it in your area or be in contact with the CAN network here and then find out how to do that. So
do you want
it's
to
all
list
about connecting
a few restaurants? I mean,
let's do it.
You can go to the website and everything, but we're going to give you just a few examples of places if you just need a quick reference guide.
Well, it's also good. You can have this resource now. So if you're a family with an autistic child, then you can go to this, you can find these restaurants. We're going to list some now so that you know where they are. Hopefully it helps.
And reach
some other
out
businesses.
To us if you want some more resources, or you want us to send you this list, reach out to us. We are happy to email it over to you.
Yes. And I am going to also talk about some other areas in the city, but we can get to that. So here's some top 10 autism friendly places to eat in the Grand Strand. So number 1 is River City Cafe. If you've never been there, burgers. There's multiple locations. It's casual, loud, tolerant, very relaxed. Dagwood's Deli. And they have multiple locations. Flexible, family friendly, and accommodating staff. Golden Egg Pancake House in Surfside. Quieter mornings, predictable environment. Ultimate California Pizza. They have multiple locations. Johnny D's Waffles. They're in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, I think is their two locations.
Decadent.
Yes, yes. Get ready to have a sugar bomb. Good though. Mellow Mushroom. And they have a relaxed vibe and spacious seating. Tupelo Honey in Market Common. It's kind of interesting because some of these places I would have never known.
Yeah.
They don't, I don't know that they might advertise it, but where do you see it?
I think it's a quiet thing that the community knows.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you're part of the community.
Nacho Hippo is one. They have Market Common in
North Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
Barefoot. Area.
Yes. Carolina Roadhouse in Myrtle Beach. And then Drift. Drift. So,
and this is just a few of them,
yes.
just to give you some different options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But what a cool thing to have. And the point of this whole initiative wasn't about driving tourism. That was not the goal, which it's not like, hey, we're trying to bring people to the beach and on vacation here. It's not like she started it because she was solving a problem for families to take a less stressful vacation and to be able to get away in a stress-free environment and enjoy themselves for a minute. And it's so cool because when there's actual heart behind a mission, I think it makes a big difference than the dollars. You're just trying to get people here and you're just all talk, no action. But this is truly a community event. And there's a lot of actual community events around the year that are part of the network and help to fundraise. There's the Canned Meatball Challenge in Surfside Beach.
That's cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah. You're Italian, so you like meatballs.
Give me some meatballs.
It's more like a family type gathering, not a formal fundraiser type situation, so more casual. Of course, it goes along with their theme. We have a really cool race car place called Broadway Grand Prix. There's race cars, rides, mini golf, arcade, whatever, a lot of fun things, but they have an event designed just for autistic families. And they have travel hours like to attend. People will go from hours away to come here to attend this event, which is super cool. They have sensory friendly movie nights. So that's really fun. They have lower volume. The light is turned partially on. The kids can move freely during the movie. There's no judgment. Everybody understands. And then there's ongoing sensory events, like the aquarium has sensory days. The trampoline parks have different options of hours for sensory. And then there's consistent year-round programming that they announce as events. So there's always something going on around town that you can find as a family and be a part of and bring your child to, and they will be understood and you won't have to worry.
That's pretty cool.
And there's some other places in town.
There are. And so, I thought I would talk about a couple of other. So the region now includes 10 certified lodging properties.
That's cool.
8 restaurants, 5 retail locations, 13 attractions, and 6 service providers that have completed specialized training to better serve individuals with autism and sensory sensitivities.
That just
I think
shows
that's super cool.
How committed our locals are to championing this network and this cause and understanding the importance of it and trying to do what we can for families in need. So I think that's really cool. And I think there's more growing.
There is. There's more than 150 businesses along the Grand Strand have pledged their support or received CAN certification through the Beach is for Everybody sensory friendly pledge, which is super cool. Yeah. Myrtle Beach International Airport unveiled the Sunflower Lanyard program, allowing travelers to discreetly self-identify a hidden disability, and also offers one of the first quiet rooms in the U.S., providing families a calm space to decompress near baggage claim.
We've been consistently ranked one of the best small town airports, which it is great. If you haven't been, it's a really
the airport
great
airport. It's my favorite. When I fly around sometimes and do some things, when I come back into town, it's so great to just
good to be
come into the airport and it's quiet because there's
so
just nothing going
nice.
on. Oh my gosh. After you go off to all the craziness.
But I think the cool thing about what you said and about the can card that you can use around town is they're making it discreet. I think that's the key word is you just like show them this, you just wear the lanyard and you don't have to explain yourself or go into this big thing or find somebody everybody knows and you can just go about your business. And I think that's and you're not like put on the spot in front of everybody else. So I think that's
I agree.
a super cool part of it.
Skywheel Myrtle Beach offers expedited access and discounted tickets to families with autism travel card. And Ripley's Aquarium provides noise canceling headphones and special pricing. Dave & Buster's holds quarterly events where they turn down the music and raise the lights to accommodate guests with sensory sensitivities.
And that's, if you don't know, like a very family friendly place. People love it. It's got an arcade, casual dining. It's at Broadway at the beach and just a fun family friendly place.
Yeah. I think this is really cool though. Yeah. All these businesses do all this.
Yeah.
Savannah's Playground.
So I heard that this was one of the first autism friendly playgrounds in the whole state.
Let's see. Unveiled they just had enhancements and an expansion at the playground.
We just reopened the new.
It doesn't say, I don't have that here, whether it was the first in the state, but it's a really cool place. We've been taking Hudson there since he was born.
Well, just the cool thing about it is they have like a mini tiny playground for little babies. Then they have, it looks like a miniature playground.
Yeah.
And then they have like a little bit bigger version of it. It's like you took a shrink gun and like made it into the different sizes for the kids. And then your child can grow with it, but it's fenced in. So there's not like, they can run off and
yes, that's one of the best things about it.
And that's why it's a great place for parents to go and feel a little more comfortable with their child there. And it's just a bunch of sensory friendly options there as well. So it's a great, and a lot of the restaurants that can use the can card are also in the Market Common. Savannah's Playground is in the Market Common. The Market Common sits kind of at South Myrtle Beach, right before Surfside Beach. So right there in that sweet spot of vacation. But that's a really great playground.
Really
it's special
cool
for anybody to have. It's not just autism friendly. It's great for all families, but it is also great for autism as well.
Yeah, it's a great playground. And that's not far from, like you said, Market Common, but some of the other restaurants, but like Tupelo Honey, one that's on this list is right down the way.
Nacho Hippo.
Okay, we're probably gonna miss some businesses because there's a lot of them. So there's many. We're just highlighting ones we were able to find, and we don't want, this could be a 4-hour long video. So, but I think it's really important to just know that what we have here, and when you come here, that we are that type of town. And I also want to talk about a little bit about what we're doing, but I know we have more stuff. So.
Well, I think, and I don't know if this goes into like, if you live here, Hudson doesn't have autism. He's not on the spectrum, but he did have a speech delay.
Yeah.
And so since he was 2, we've been in programs for his speech. He's finally graduated out of it. We're so proud of him, but we went through a whole bunch of discovery of programs. And one of them that also helps autism and things like that is BabyNet, which we didn't know about. It's all these moms. We all help each other around town and we give each other resources and tell each other where to go. But we got him into BabyNet and then they gave him some services, told us what to do. We had no idea what we were doing, as I'm sure a lot of parents that find out their child is on the spectrum, they're like, what do I do next? What does this mean? What can I do to help them? And then they helped us transition into the school with an IEP program where they would take him out for speech, but for autism, it can be other things. It could be speech as well, and helped integrate the services from before school to into school and help him transition as much as he could without feeling like he was being pulled out from the other kids.
Another resource
here is to utilize that if you're thinking about moving here and you liked what we're talking about and all of the things that our area has to offer for you and your family, all the support here in Horry County, the school system, and as far as those types of programs, not just restaurants and places you can go, but actual services that will help you. There's a lot of services here for families. And like I said, the school system as well. So not in the same thing as like our child is on the spectrum, but we still dealt with similar programs.
Yeah, there's
that our friends also deal with.
The point is there's a lot of programs that can help children in the area. And that's what's great about the support of the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're getting at.
But I think who would think, and I feel like a broken record, but who would think to themselves, a small beach town I'm going to move to has all of these things for my family's needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think you don't realize that we do have that support.
Well, and we've talked about many times about how, Myrtle Beach is getting all of this influx of people, and we're stretched, but they're prioritizing the important stuff. I feel like this is a really important thing.
Yeah.
There's more, but obviously this is one of them. And so I think they're doing a great job in that regard.
Yeah.
Obviously there's more everybody could do.
Yeah.
But I'm really impressed because of the fact that we're smaller and we still have this kind of a network.
And even though we're a small town, I feel like we are leaders in this cause. We are showing people in other places, this is how you create an autism-friendly community, autism-friendly vacation spot. We're showing people this is what these families need and how we can support them in our little area. Mm-hmm. It's super cool.
It is.
To be a part of that.
It is. Here. It really is. So I had some new and upcoming initiatives. What else did you have anything else on your list of stuff that you wanted to talk about before that?
No, go ahead.
All right. So there's a new and upcoming Traveling the Spectrum docuseries. This is an award-winning docuseries, and it talks about traveling the spectrum, and it earned a 2025 Telly Award. The first season is expected to be released on YouTube, and the trailer for the season 2 is now available. Yes, at Myrtle Beach area CVB. So just thought I'd
CVB is
CVB.
Are you?
Yeah. What did I spit on there?
No, you're just spelling it out.
Well, I was spelling it out
backwards. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. Visit Myrtle Beach released a children's book, which I thought was pretty neat, titled Splish Splash Squawk, Finding Joy in a Sensory-Friendly Vacation, created to help families with children on the autism spectrum feel more confident and excited about travel.
Super cool.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach Bowl partnership, which is pretty neat.
So it's a bowling alley.
The Myrtle Beach Bowl partnered with Champion Autism Network to create a sensory-friendly environment at Brooks Stadium with trained volunteers in a designated sensory-friendly area for attendees. The recently released movie Learning You was filmed in Myrtle Beach. I didn't know that. And highlights the experiences of individuals on the spectrum, generating significant regional media attention. So I just thought that was interesting. And there's some things that, kind of highlights about the area as well. But I think that's really great.
Yeah. I thought this was a pretty good quote I found. But they said, there's a lot of places you can visit, but very few where you feel understood. I thought that was pretty profound. And it must be a great feeling for families that need that.
I agree. I think that's great.
Yeah.
There was a couple other businesses that I was going to talk about too, or businesses.
Yeah, the bowling alley is one I thought you were going to talk about. The Myrtle Beach Bowl is that was an event at the stadium, but
the sensory-friendly bowling is a little different than what we talked about earlier. So Myrtle Beach Bowl hosts sensory-friendly bowling once a month. And they raise the house lights and turn off the music to make it manageable. So food, shoes, and bowling fees are offered at a discounted cost with your autism travel card. And there's monthly bowling bashes are also held with the house lights up and music off, a great way for kids to celebrate in a low-pressure environment. I thought that was really neat. So that's another example. Low Tide Gaming, which is brand new in 2025. And that's a brand new all ages gaming lounge in Surfside Beach that opened in April of 25 and specifically designed with a sensory friendly environment. And it features soft lighting, a soundproof gaming station, PS5, Nintendo, Xbox setups, and a noise controlled environment to reduce overwhelming sensory input. So that's just, it's just amazing.
We could
how
just
many
go on
yes.
and on and on. I mean,
Pretty
there's
pretty
so
impressive.
many businesses, events around the year, restaurants, things that
Wonderworks,
we can't
the
even
theater.
fit into this. But the whole point is, it's here.
It's here.
It's here. And we want to make sure everybody is aware of this and understands that this is a place that they will be accepted and taken care of.
And this is why I love doing the show, because there's a lot, we know a lot about Myrtle Beach, but there's a lot we don't know. And this is a perfect example, because I knew about the CAN network, but I think going deeper and understanding exactly what's taking place was really interesting. And I learned a lot doing this. I love doing these shows because it helps me and I learn a lot. And I would love to hear from everybody out there. If there's something that you know that we don't, or any, input that you would want to add, let us know.
Yeah.
But I think it's important because, some people are going to be confused because of the Carolina Crafted Home Show or real estate and things that we do. But this all ties together. And what we're trying to help everybody understand is we are about bringing everything that is real and not raw, but kind of raw. Like, we want you to know everything that's going on in Myrtle Beach, and whether it's good or bad, we're going to tell you. This is one of the great things that we get to highlight. And I think it's really cool because sometimes we're talking about the good and the bad, and this is all good.
Well, I think it's easy for, like I said, something like this to get lost in the noise about Myrtle Beach. And this kind of thing gets lost in the noise.
That's right. It does get lost in the noise.
It's great to put a spotlight on it, for sure.
Yeah. And there's more businesses that we didn't name. There's more that we could go over, but we would be here for a long time, like we said. So I just think it's important that everybody understand that this is a great community. There are a lot of cool things that we do, and there's other nonprofits and organizations, and we'll talk about those in the future. But we just thought that we were talking about this the other day, and we realized, we should really bring attention to this because we have a lot of friends that that this involves and family. And so we just thought we would have that conversation with everybody here.
But if you live here, this is a great opportunities to meet other families with similar needs. And you can just talking to another mom or dad that is going through the same situation and understands what you're going through, and you can just not have to explain yourself and you just get each other. I think that means a lot. And I know we have a lot of friends that they go to lunch once a week, or they have play dates that is a little more relaxing and stress-free for them because they have similar children. And so I think going to these events can help you find that community of people here in town that will give you that support system and that outlet. We can't even imagine what it would be like. We only hear it from friends or family, and we've seen little bits and pieces, but being a parent to it, we feel for you and we understand the struggles of parenthood in general. And, I would feel like this was a great thing in a great place if I was going through something like that with my child.
For sure. And so we want everyone to know. And I also want to mention that if you have questions, real estate related or just about the area, you can reach out to us. That's why we do this. So we're here for you. If you have real estate, great. If you want to build or renovate and all those things, that's great too. But we're here as a resource in general. So if we can help in any way and help put you in contact with someone or answer any questions, we're here for you. We do it for all of our clients and our customers and friends and family. If they have questions about anything and we can help, we're here to do that, whether it relates directly or indirectly to what we do. So
definitely,
I think that's the main point.
Mine made it through without any major coughing attacks.
You did good. Tiffany didn't have a coughing attack. That's
a
celebration today.
Like, are you sure you could do this tonight?
Yeah.
It's an important topic though. So
it is. And it's our, was cool to do our new set. So this was interesting. We'll be here from now on. We've been holding off, but we're here and we're excited to continue to do this. And if you have any ideas for future videos you want to see us talk about, any topics, let us know. We have plenty for the next couple weeks, but if you have questions or you have something specific you want us to talk about, bring it up. We got some fun ones coming up. So, all right. Well, if anybody needs anything, reach out and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.